So hi everyone listening to us right now and right wherever you are, as I always say, but we are in the best place possible, I think, down on site already, and this is our very first live down on site talk with, well, he's gonna laugh now, a legend actually sitting in front of me, and you're going to reach your meditative place soon to his 24-hour and usually much longer sets. Goa Gil, thank you for taking the time to sit here with us a little bit.
Om Namo Narayan. Hi, everybody.
So yeah, a great pleasure. Great pleasure. And I'm just sorry, as I told him, that we did have a little bit of a chat before even starting this very official talk, of course. And I'm just sad you could not hear all of the treasures that I already know from him. But yeah, soon to come more.
They probably heard it in other places.
Oh, well, yeah, probably. You have been around, haven't you? Here and there. And first of all, yeah, my first question I was preparing with is actually about what I heard that you, for some time, you did not participate at festivals, at these kinds of gatherings. And then 3 years ago, you came to Ozora and you are still here. So we have built a tradition, I can say. And I was wondering why you did not want to, take part at festivals when I do know that you have your 24-hour and long. I have to say and longer because you never play 24 hours. It's usually, however you feel, parties. So you did not play for some time. Why did you choose not to do so? And then why did you choose to
I did not play for some time?
At festivals.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's too many people for me. I prefer a smaller, intimate gathering and just doing my thing so that people can absorb the energy and have the full experience and go home with that and not be distracted with anything else.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I came to Ozora is because I played in Hungary every year for like more than 10 years or 12 years. I don't know, for Sai Baba.
Yeah.
And first time was for Ken Guru, before Sai Baba even.
Yeah.
And the thing is that after playing for more than 10 years here, then there was a change in government and a new government came in and they made all kind of regulations about having events and you have to have this paper and that paper and so many things that the kind of parties that we do was not possible anymore in Hungary.
Yeah.
So I didn't come to Hungary for 3-4 years or something, or maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
Then everybody's saying we got to get him back to Hungary. So then this was the solution, and they knew that I wouldn't play in a festival.
Exactly.
So they offered me that we play Saturday, Sunday night, as long as we want, open end. Because the Hungarians always did that. They made it open end, play as long as you want.
Exactly.
And then
we're a greedy lot, aren't we?
Then after we finish playing, there's a break till 8 p.m. the next day when the opening ceremony happens.
Exactly.
So in that kind of way, I don't mind playing in a festival because...
Yeah, this way you're not in the thousands
I'm doing my thing and people are there ready to absorb what's happening and not distracted by me and other things.
Exactly.
And that's what I...
And you know how, well, you say you don't like the big crowds, but actually huge masses come just for you. You should see the comments. It's like, well, is Goa Gil included in the festival? Because then I'm coming if you, so
right.
we have those.
But it's not like, there's a number of people. It was big crowds last year and the year before, but not like the crowd at the main stage when I went for the opening.
Exactly. I know. That's totally.
But that's okay. I don't want to be, I'm in my events, I want to try to reach everybody through the music, and if it becomes too big, it's hard to make that family feeling among everyone.
For sure.
And that's, I'm trying to look for that in a way.
And, and look.
Everybody should be part of this thing that's,
I do agree. And most of us kind of search for that togetherness, and it's not, people say that I fart butterflies because I usually, think of all this mushy positive stuff that can kind of bind us together and keep us strong. But yeah, then again, there's lots of stuff to conquer, struggle with, whatever. Never mind.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. You know, it's always a challenge to put the music in a certain way that eventually you get the people moving together in one vibration, which is my goal. And so some places it's more of a challenge than others, but usually by, the end of the party it happens, or even earlier on. And, when it's huge crowds, it's somehow in a way harder to do that, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, you succeed, so maybe it's not so hard. Or, I don't know, because I have never stood for a day or longer.
Right.
Kind of keeping people together with just the sounds that I make. And,
it's just it's my way of worshiping the universe. It's my tapasya, we call it, tapasya.
A nice kind of tapasya. Thank you so much.
Some sadhus stand up for 12 years.
Oh, yeah.
Some hold their arm over their head for 12 years. Me, I stand there and I do this and I make my worship and I use the music like the glass bead game, trying to use it brick by brick or bead by bead to reach the divine. And people are there taking part in that.
And so basically we're looking forward to 12 years of Goa Gil. One set.
12 years?
Like a true sadhu in the end. Who knows? No,
it's been more than 12 years already.
No, but in one set.
Oh, in one set, not possible.
Who knows?
No.
Anything is possible. We have talked about, what we learn in India and whatever.
I'm not 25 anymore.
Oh, really? You surprise me all the time.
I'm 65 now, going on 66.
He's lying. We don't feel that. It's physical. It has no meaning, I don't think.
Luckily, by the blessings of Guru Maharaj, I'm able to do these things.
Oh, yeah. And for you, for example, as we talked about these important things, these values, I guess, in a way, and you have been part of, let's say, the scene, okay? Let's use this umbrella term. What have you seen? What have you felt about the scene, about the community that's gathering around the scene? Where is it heading? Or do you think about these things, or you just concentrate on what you're giving?
I just concentrate on trying. Yeah,
exactly.
Because there's so many different people with so many different opinions and so many different desires and so many different distractions and whatever. I can't worry about all that. Everybody's got their own karma and their destiny and their life to live, and they have to understand it themselves. Because there's an old saying: you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
That's so true. Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to open up the people through this trance dance experience. And when they get open at some point in the thing, then I try to plant a seed in their subconscious that will hopefully flower and grow.
Thank you.
And in some of them they will, and in many of them they won't. But that depends on them after they receive it.
Exactly. How they interpret it, how they use it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So some people are changed by that and their life is changed, and other people just go back to their main routine thing and they didn't,
Yeah.
And that for them it was just like a great experience.
Yeah, an adventure you go back home from. Yeah, where it doesn't really lay the foundation.
But all that also depends on karma. Everything is karma. So
thank you, Karma, for giving me Goa Gil's wisdom. I did need it, actually, but that's a different topic. So, yeah, thank you. I am finding its place right now, secretly. But music-wise, I was, thinking what... You hear all kinds of, I guess, new talents, old talents, whatever, new people coming up. Music-wise, who have you found to be, let's say... In your way, for your ears, talented or surprising or novel or,
I have really my own kind of taste because I've been in music all my life. First in San Francisco in the 60s, and even before that, with all the stuff on the radio and whatever, and getting records, and then I had a period where I wasn't into music when I did my tapasya and sadhana and the jungle in India in the early 70s. But then but then even at that time, because I had been a musician all my life, when I meditated, whole songs used to come to me, and they would just come through me. I knew how they went with all these spiritual words. And then my friends who I met, because I'm, like in that time, there weren't that many people in India.
Yeah.
And even when I first arrived to Amsterdam from San Francisco in late 69, I met all these people like the first night on the dam. And then on the way to India, and I went to Morocco for a short time, I met them again. And then on the way to India and in Goa and different things, there was some certain people. Now I lost my train of thought.
I don't care.
What was I talking about?
I don't care. You know why you lost it? Because we're wandering around in life so far.
Right.
So what we started out with was, well, have you discovered any new musical talents? And then you're giving me a life experience, so you have lost no train of thought. We're on the train. We're actually on the train. We reach Morocco.
Now. I have sometimes short-term memory loss.
No, I do that, and
we call it, what is it? CRS syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember shit.
Oh, but exactly. One of the best kinds of syndromes. It helps us go to sleep at night, Anyway, but so loads of stuff coming to you, music-wise. It doesn't really matter what it is. Just to give you the feeling of spirit, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I was into music all my life. That's what I was saying, right. Yeah, so then I went back to Goa, and there was, the first parties were campfire on the beach, right?
Yeah.
And people had a few acoustic guitar and some Indian drum, and maybe somebody had a flute. And I came there and picked up one of their guitars, because I had left my guitar in the jungle somewhere, and then I just strummed the thing, and boom, my kundalini went up, and these songs started to come through me, and it was amazing. And I was also like in a very high meditative state, because I'd been doing all this tapasya, and this is what had been happening to me lately. And then I saw that everybody was affected by it.
Of course.
And so then that was when I understood the power of music, even to take people to the highest level.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been concentrating on that ever since. And I went through so many kind of music to get to where I am today, because it started like my whole life, then playing with this guitar. Then we had bands in Goa, and I collected all the music that I knew from my whole life also, and used to DJ all night sometime, but playing all that music from any time.
Yeah.
Could be early Beatles or John Coltrane or Jimi Hendrix or this or that or anything.
Yeah.
Soul music, and I'd make a story with that. And then in the early 80s, the first electronic music came over with friends from Europe. It was called wave music at the time, with synthesizer and drum machine. As opposed, not new wave. It was just wave. It's two different things.
Yeah.
And we moved into electronic body music, and then I went through all this kind of music to come to where I am today. And before that, every other kind of music too, and classical Indian and African drumming and this and that. So I have a pretty particular taste.
Okay.
So there's a lot of, probably for people who are used to the normal thing, it's really weird.
The normal thing. But isn't the normal thing a weird thing to talk about?
I don't know, but there's a lot of great artists, and people are making things with new ideas and breaking new ground like every year. And every year, even in Goa in the original days when we started to collect electronic music, we would try to have a new collection each year.
Yeah.
because it's better it's more psychedelic and more, you can take people higher with, if you play new stuff that they haven't heard, but it has all the elements of what they like.
Exactly.
Right? So we've always had a new collection, and year by year the music's been evolving, and what I play now is where I'm at now. And I like all that stuff. I mean, I like what I play very much. Of
That's
course,
very good.
Yeah, I have many. I mean, I'm very passionate about it, and I have been my whole life. I mean, sometimes, a lot of time, it changes every time, because just before most parties, I get some new music.
Oh, yeah.
And I've heard it maybe one time, and sometime I get a lot of new music, and I go through it, and because I play on DAT, digital audio tape.
I know.
So I have to record everything optically to the DAT tape.
Yeah.
And so that's in real time only. And then I have to listen to every tape back to make sure there's no glitches.
Yes.
So so sometime, I've recorded all this stuff and listened to it once and made a few notes. And then I go to play, and so many times I like to try out new tracks.
Of course.
And then when you hear them on a party, it's different than when you hear them at home. Yeah. And then I can understand many times it works really good in that moment that I chose. Sometime I realize, this would be better in another moment. And because everything about the whole thing is timing.
Yeah.
Everything is about timing and the certain flow and getting the right track at the right time, and then so that it takes it a little higher and a little higher and a little higher and a little higher, and the longer it goes on, the more that cosmic mind and trance thing comes. That's why I like to play long sets, because for me, the best time is the end of the party.
Oh yeah, because it has been building up in its own organic
because
way.
Those tracks that I play at the late afternoon and sunset and whatever the next day, you have to go through all that night music and morning music and middle of the day and whatever to come to the afternoon, and then you can understand those tracks. If I would put it like in the first night or in the morning of it wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be in its place.
Right, it wouldn't be in its place. There's a certain narrative I've creating, and I listen to all this stuff and I see where it fits in the story. Like a jigsaw puzzle, like the glass bead game.
Exactly.
That's what I compare it to.
That's so nice. I am very much Hess myself.
Me too.
And I do believe in communication that high.
Right.
So that would be, I think, our goal somewhere as people.
So even then, it was like in the glass bead game, although it was not just one person, it was a panel of people, but many spectators would come, and it was only almost like a kind of church.
Exactly.
And I feel the same way about my environment.
Yeah.
That's why I like to do my own thing, and I don't play many festivals and this and that.
Yeah.
Because I want to create for me, the whole thing is like magic, and it has to be magic from the organization on up. Exactly. And everything has to be right and symmetrical, and then it can really happen. Then the magic can come full. So, and I like here I get really, they treat me fantastic here.
Because
and they
we
really
love
look
you.
out for me and everything. But sometimes you come to these things, and people don't have such a big staff. And if there's other artists there, they're busy, they're stretched out and limited between all the artists, and I need a little bit more, I don't know, because I'm old, I have, I've had health problems over the years.
I think it's about, caring for each other's souls. Yeah. It needs some attentiveness.
Right. So even these days, I don't even play for many new organizers, because when I do, it's usually a disappointment. I have this certain tour that I've been doing for years all around the world, and I have certain families of people all over the world that present my thing every year, and by now they know what I need, they know how to do it and whatever, and then that makes me happy. And I want to continue working with them. Huh?
We want to continue you working with us. We want this as well.
Yeah. No, here I can't complain. It's been, all the arrangements are always perfect.
We're very happy and honored, of course, as always. And also, besides, yes, going around to the families, to the little tribes,
circles
people.
of light all over the world that are connected.
Oh,
little
and
circles.
thank
of
God
light.
for that. Otherwise, not much meaning would be left.
Right.
Or, that's my opinion. But you also, there's the Nomos project that you're doing.
Yeah.
So you do, you're not only giving out
Ariane.
music, yes, but
Right.
with Ariane, you're also doing the Nomos.
Yeah, and she does Nimba also.
Exactly. So, besides going around and giving your magic to
And
us.
then some DJ mixes also.
Exactly. So,
I have a new one coming out.
yeah, I was going to ask you
Okay.
about that. So tell me about the new mix coming up.
No, because I was, since many years, most of my CDs have been kind of nighttime, and then the end of it maybe beginning of morning.
Yeah.
And for many years, I wanted to make a middle of the day CD also, like middle of the day and afternoon a bit.
Yeah.
Because I love that time also. And so finally, I had it in the back of my mind from so long, and then after the last CD, I was planning to do it, but unfortunately, Avatar Records had some problems, and there was some death in the family, and this and that, and
Obstacles.
so then obstacles, and then it wasn't happening, and then I realized when I came back from India, just in like 3 weeks before I was coming from Europe, I thought, I'll do it in September, because I wanted to make this CD with all artists from San Francisco, because I play a lot of that stuff in the midday and afternoon. And then I thought, oh man, because a number of them are playing at this Eclipse thing in Oregon.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, it would be really good if it was ready for the Eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
So then I rushed into a friend's studio and made a mix, and then I left to Europe, and then they took care of mastering it, and it's going to come out on their label, Zexify Records. It's the label of the Dog of Tears.
Oh, yeah.
And it came out quite nice. I mean, it was a bit rushed because I was leaving for Europe, but I think it came out pretty good, and it'll be ready for the Eclipse. And we called it because in America everybody calls California Kali.
Oh, yeah.
So I called it I always say
Post Cali.
yeah, I always say Kali with a K, California with a K. So I called it Postcard from Kali with a K.
Perfect.
And then I mixed the whole thing on a play on words, and even on the back, it looks like a postcard kind of thing, or inside.
Yeah.
And it says, like, I wrote it like a postcard. You'll see, it looks cool.
And also with this Kali Yuga era.
Right.
Well,
I already had one Kali Yuga, and I had a Carmageddon also. I mean, different CDs. Yeah, it's always been I try to keep in those kind of theme, because that's who I am, what to say.
And that's the whole picture.
Right.
Or a more wholesome picture, I don't know how to say. Whatever. And also, I really don't want to tire you
But we have
with
a
all
new
these
Nomos
questions.
track on that CD,
Yeah?
too, after quite a while. Yeah, for a while Ariane couldn't work because she got this frozen shoulder thing and all that. So it was really hard to work on computer. So things have been really, really slow.
But that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we got it together.
If the fruits come,
Right.
after a while. And concerning the festival here right now, I did hear birds chirping that last year you went to check out someone, I don't know, maybe Juno Reactor, I don't know. So you did take part.
Oh yeah, the last 2 years we went to the opening festival because friends of ours were opening. I know Juno Reactor so many years. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Then last year was Highlight Tribe opening. Highlight Tribe were really close with. They used to, stay in Goa a lot of the time in the winter when we are in a house there, and we had behind this tree where Eddie used to do his shows in a little stage in the rice paddy there, and every day at sunset we used to do African drumming with Greg and Ludo from Highlight Tribe and some of the other members.
And we were going to ask you what you would personally, check out this year, what you would recommend.
The thing is that we're leaving already on Tuesday.
No.
Yeah, because we have to go back to Berlin, pack the apartment that we have for the summer sublet, like for our tour of Europe in the summer. And then we have to leave to States, regroup in California, and then drive up to Oregon, 2-day drive for the Eclipse.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, for this Eclipse Festival, which starts before the eclipse itself.
Right.
It starts on the 17th, but we want to get there before all the rush, so we want to get there on the 15th or something, you know?
So we're not going to see you dancing around
sorry.
the main stage this year.
I'll be closing that Eclipse Festival too, but I want to... Many of my friends are playing, so I want to see them too, and we want to beat the crowd, so we're going to drive up early and be there with the crew.
And just one last question, which is, I just thought of this. You having come away or having left the States at one time, probably because you were searching for something more or other or whatever. So where do you feel most? I don't know. Where do you feel your spirit fulfilled the most nowadays? Because as you say, you're everywhere.
Home is where the heart is.
Oh God! Oh God! Is it that true?
I don't know. I feel, some places I'm more comfortable than others. Every place has its good and bad points. I mean, I love India. It's such a big part of me, and I love to be there and the whole. I'm deeply involved in the tradition and culture of India, and I get a lot of joy when I'm there participating in that. But I get a lot of joy traveling all over the world, trying to share that energy with everybody too, young people, everywhere all over the world, because I'm trying to I'm trying to help people transcend the square box of programming that society has imposed upon them their whole life, and maybe see it in a different way or see something new, through what I do. So that's why some of the music I play can sometime in the night almost be shocking. It can be almost like, it used to be even more though sometimes. I mean, I don't know, there was always this thing of starting with like more accessible stuff that, like people would know, and then bringing them up and up and up, and then
when they don't notice.
And then into the Armageddon kind of before the light comes.
Exactly.
And
you have to, fall apart into little particles to reassemble yourself. This is at least my kind of experience of being there for the journey.
And then also in California, I like it a lot because that's where I'm from, and actually it's really California's good points are that the air is pretty clean.
Oh,
you can go walking, and we don't stay in San Francisco. We stay
outside,
across the bridge over there, and where my mother lived, and we can go for a walk, and there's no barking dogs at you, and there's all nice greenery around and redwood trees and whatever, and also there's really good organic food and this and that and all kind of thing like that. Yeah. So I don't know, those are the good points, and many friends and interesting people. I don't know. Every place has its good and bad points. I try to enjoy wherever I go.
I see your
main
smile.
Thing is that everywhere I go, the first thing I do is set up my puja, my altar.
Exactly.
And then it's home for me. Because there I'm just doing my puja and doing things and doing my, and always making sure that the puja is lit and incense is going, and every morning and evening arti and whatever, and that's what keeps me going also.
Well, I thank you. I have been recharged, people. You don't see me, but I have been recharged, and I wish you an amazing, lots of joy, lots of falling apart and reassembling in your this year's 24-hour set. Who knows? Who knows when you'll finish? I'll check it. After 48 hours, we're gonna come knocking.
No, I don't think I'll do that. I got a flight to catch on Tuesday.
Well, it's easy then.
Till Sunday night is good, and then Monday, then I get some sleep, and Monday slowly pack, and usually have a last dinner with the organizers on most places I go, and then Tuesday go to the airport.
To the new adventure.
Usually I go back to my base, wherever it is, do my laundry immediately, repack on Wednesday, and Thursday go to the next place. That's how it is.
Is this how it's going to be?
That's how it's been for years whenever I'm in the middle of a tour. I mean, different if it's just one party somewhere. Then I go there I go on a Thursday and come back on a Tuesday anyway. But yeah, it's mostly like that.
I wish you lots of inspiration, joy, and love that you're giving back to you as well. Thank you so much.
And I wish you all the best also. Lots of blessings. And to everybody out there.
You have been listening to Goa Gil, sharing some of that light I feel, and you probably have heard and sensed.
Om
Thank
Namah
you so much.
Shivaya, Har Har Mahadev, Jai Ma, Jai Guru Dev.
Thank you. And guys, definitely don't forget that today from 6, the Goa Gil and Ariane experience is beginning, or the journey. So Ariane is starting her set at 6, right about or before sunset, followed by Goa Gil's traditionary 24-hour or longer journey for you.